Us is a horror film and is directed by Jordan Peele and stars Lupita Nyong'o. And the film is about a family who, while vacationing in Santa Cruz, come across doppelgangers of themselves. So Us was directed by Jordan Peele, the same director behind the smash hit Get Out. In fact, not only with Get Out did he direct a solid first feature film, but he also crafted what I think is one of the best horror films of the decade. With most horror films that have come out in this decade, generally they're forgotten within 4 months. But with Get Out, 2 years after it came out, people are still talking about it. Get Out was one of the most intelligent horror films anyone had seen in a long time, and it definitely raised questions that people wanted to answer. So yeah, following Get Out, Us had a lot to prove. Not only to prove that Jordan Peele isn't a one-trick pony, but also to deliver something fresh and different. And Us is a fantastic movie. While I still think Get Out is slightly better, Us does enough to stand on its own. Just to get it out of the way, here are my few issues with the film. Only minor, but they did bother me. Firstly, like Jordan Peele's first film Get Out, the film does have a very slow pace. And with this film having a longer runtime, it definitely dragged in some places. But for me, that only happened in the first half hour. Also, I wasn't too huge on the opening of this film. It makes sense later in the film, but the way the film opened was kind of a weak start. I also wasn't too psyched about the first half hour of the film, and I understand, with most horror films, the first half hour builds up the film. That's not to say that I didn't mind this build-up. In fact, after the dull opening, I definitely liked this part, but it does take quite a bit of time to build up the characters, and that's all the problems I had with the film. But here's where things get interesting. Once the doppelganger family appears, that's when things get immensely better. And it's from this point forward that the film just becomes relentless. The doppelgangers themselves are actually terrifying. And some of the situations that the main characters get themselves in had me on the edge of my seat. One of my favorite scenes is each member of the family individually have to go up against their doppelganger. And this whole segment was a thrill to watch. On a technical level, this film is a big step up from Get Out. Because with Get Out, Jordan Peele had a small budget to work with, but here with Us, he had more money, so he could do a lot more, and everything is just stepped up in every single aspect. The cinematography is a lot better. Even the music score I just got drawn into. And to me, this score just felt iconic. Even now, I can still remember samples of the score. But probably the biggest thing I have to praise about this film is the performance by Lupita Nyong'o. This is her movie. Every scene she's in, she steals it. And while all the other actors are fine themselves, I'm sorry, Lupita Nyong'o is the star. This was the character I cared for the most. Her backstory was interesting, the way she cared for her family, and the way she got a little bit mad and crazy sometimes. All of these were performed flawlessly. Getting into the story, for me, I found this original, and at most points, I found this to be unpredictable. Every time I thought the film was going to go in one direction, it pulled a swerve, and it was refreshing in a way to be surprised so often in a horror film. Now, I can see people not liking this film. This is definitely a very smart horror film, and one that makes you think long after you've seen it. There are a lot of questions raised in the film that are left unanswered, so if you are seeing this film, be prepared. It's not like your typical horror film with cliches and whatnot. This is a horror film that is designed to make you think and to analyze the little details throughout the film. Overall, this has so far been one of the most average year for films. Most of the films I've seen from this year have been either okay, great, or just, I can't even remember. But now with Us, I can finally say we have a film that is one of the best of the year. As I've said, there is a lot to like about this film. From Lupita Nyong'o's performance, the cinematography, the music score, the performances from everyone in general, this film being one of the true horror films I've seen in recent memory, and for providing a smart and intelligent story as well. And while I do have my issues with the film, they're only minor. So as soon as you can, I would highly recommend checking this out. And I'm going to give Us a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thank you for watching.